login validation using requested dispatcher. In the last video, I made a video on the requested dispatcher. Using the same requested dispatcher, we'll be learning about how to perform login validation, which is important for us, right? So here, these are the steps we will be following to perform the login validation. The first step is create EMP Login JSP file. It is our first step. Let us create the EMP Login JSP file. You are seeing the screen, right? Here I will be creating a JSP file inside the web app folder. Remember that always we have to create the JSP files inside the web app folder. So we'll be creating the login JSP of EMP. So search for JSP file. So we'll name it as EMP Login JSP file. So the JSP file is created. Now we'll be writing all the login form. Just we'll have to type control space, you will get everything. Just we'll name it as EMP Login as the URL. This is the URL. And next, what is our next step? We have to provide the dialog box for the user, right? So here we'll be providing email colon using input tag. Type, what type of data it is? Email data type. Next, using break tag, line break, and password input tag. Input tag. So the type of data is password. Just control space is the shortcut command for us to write the code very fast, and I am using the break tag here. Next, we require a submit button. Submit, yes, it is completed. So now our first step of login validation, EMP Login JSP file is created successfully. So our next step is to create the EMP Login Servlet class that should be created. So we'll be creating one more class inside the web application. So hope you can understand here where we have to create the servlet files. We'll be creating all the Java files inside the src main Java folder inside package. Inside the package we have to create. So I'll be creating a class, Java class. So the Java class name is EMP Login Servlet. So just I'm making it as EMP Login Servlet. So here extends generic servlet. So I am naming it as generic servlet. So inside the generic servlet, we know already we have one abstract method. We have to override that. Method is overridden. Then after we have to collect the data, but before that we have to map this. The login code to the servlet class. How to map that we will see now. So we have this. Now we have to map this JSP file to that servlet with the help of this URL. This is the URL. We have to copy the URL and go to the servlet class. On the top of this we have to provide annotation @web servlet, and here we have to provide the URL / just a copy paste, Control V. So this is how the both will be connected together. right? So then next, what is our next step? We have to get the data. So now observe here, I will be showing you one diagram. So here this is the form that we used in the JSP file, and all the data will be collected inside the request object. And through the request object we get the data to the servlet class. So for that we require the name attribute. So the name attribute is important for us here in order to collect the data. In order to collect the data we require a name attribute. So we have to use name attribute, remember that. And here name attribute email 1, em1, you can keep anything, the value. It is an identifier pw1. So now I will be saving this JSP file, and inside the login servlet class I will be retrieving the email data. Email equals request. Inside the request object we are collecting the data, and here the identifier em1 we have to provide. Then string password equals request, sorry, we will keep it as pass only, short pw1. So I kept it as pw1. Where did we provide these values? em1 pw1. So for the name attribute, so the name attribute is helping us to connect the dialog box through the identifier em1 and pw1. In the last video I explained about you already. So we are easy to collect the data from the login page to servlet class. So then what is our next step? Our next step is to perform the login validation. Then after we will create employee homepage. Right. So our third step is to perform the login validation. How to perform login validation? For that, what it is required? So this type of logical code is required for us to perform the login validation. It's very simple. So I took a condition and I am adding a boolean value. If the condition is true, it will give me the home page. If the condition is false, I will get the login page. Very simple logic, hope you understood this. So this kind of logic will be implementing in the third step. So let us go to the employee login servlet class, boolean condition equals true. So now I will be writing f block condition, and then in the before classes I told you to perform the servlet chaining, what I have to do? I have to use a request dispatcher. So I will be using request dispatcher d equals to request dot get request dispatcher. So I have to create a home page. I'll be creating a home page. For that I'll be providing now emp home dot JSP d dot forward. So I provided this, right? So here if the condition is true we'll get the home page. If the condition is false, in the else block we'll be sending to the login page again. But instead of that, what we have to print? We have to print the invalid credentials, right? So print writer. So I am using print writer out equals to response dot get writer. I will be providing out dot println. I will be printing invalid credentials. I will be providing this along with center tag, h1 center, right. So this is how we print the data. So now let us try to execute this code. But before that I want a EMP home page, right? But we will try this code, as well as our next step is to create the home JSP file. So let us create home JSP file. So inside the web app folder I have to create, inside the web app, control N, JSP file. So the file name, the file should be inside web app, the selection is in web app, EMP home JSP. So JSP is created. So here I will be providing some data like this. Well, login is successful. Login is successful. Welcome to home page. Welcome to home page. So we have created successfully home JSP file also. So now let us try to execute this code. And on server, the code is being executed now. The server is loading, right. The JSP file is displayed here. So now we'll type something, because the condition is reflected as true, right. So here we didn't write any logic actually. I just have given already a boolean value as true. So it is reflecting the home JSP, whatever the code is there inside home JSP, it is reflected. Now let us keep the value as false. So let us keep value as false. So I kept the false. If condition is false, I will get invalid credentials, right. Now I will be loading the JSP file. So I will return back and again I will refresh. Here I will be providing some details. I'll click on submit. See here we got the invalid credentials, right. So now let us try to add some logic. If the exact email and password is there, then in that case what we have to do, we have to write the logic in such a way that this email value should be compared with the original data. So in that case we'll be doing very simple logic. We'll be writing some code. What is that code? I'll show you now. So look at here. So we'll be writing here, I am comparing the email and password. Using email dot equals, will be comparing with value which gives boolean value, and I used a logical AND operator in order to combine the boolean value of this equals method also. So now let us write the logic here, email dot equals, and here we will be passing admin @gmail.com and double AND for logical AND, and pass dot equals, here we will be passing the value pass. So now it will be checked here, it finally the both email and password will be validated. If email and password are same as it is, then only we'll get the home page. Otherwise we will get the invalid credentials as the output. So now let us try to perform this. So before that, server is running, so make sure this, yes, web app is completely loaded. Now let us try to check the validation again. So I will be providing admin@gmail.com. I will provide wrong password. And I will click on submit. I got invalid credentials. Yes, successful. And now I will provide the correct details, admin@gmail.com, and pass. Yes, we got home page successfully. So that is how it is going to work. Now in general, like if you see any Instagram, like all these things, along with invalid credentials, it will display the login page. So here I want to display this message along with the JSP file also. In that case, in this else block, I have to add request to dispatcher again. So then what happens, like we'll get the login page along with this message. So in that case, I will be using the request to dispatcher here also. Just copy and paste, and I will provide here EMP login. So I will be providing EMP login so that we might get that proper output like that. So let us try to check the code now. The application is loaded successfully. We'll provide some wrong details. Right, I got the login page, but it is not displaying invalid credentials. So for that, what we need to do, observe it carefully. So here we have two kinds of responses. Whenever the control reaches this line, then after it will check out dispatcher object also. So the preference will be given to request a dispatcher object instead of print writer object. The preference is given to request a dispatcher, so this message is unable to display. To overcome this kind of issue, request a dispatcher is providing the include method, which is helping us in order to fetch this data along with this. The login page will be included. So include. Now let us see whether it will work or not. But before that, application should be loaded. Yes, application is loaded successfully. So now again I will provide the details, wrong details. I'll click on submit. I got invalid credentials along with that login page. So this is how it is going to work, and hope you learned something in this video. And the next videos I'll make some other important content and interesting. So please watch my videos, please share and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching my video.